How Street Augustine became America's first permanent European settlement. Most Americans believed that Jamestown was the first permanent European settlement in America. Others think it was Plymouth Colony. But both are wrong. More than 40 years before Jamestown was founded, a Spanish settlement was already thriving on the coast of Florida, a place that still exists today. Its name is Street Augustine, and its survival depended on war, religion, politics, and one incredible hurricane that changed history forever. The story begins in the early 1500s. Spain had become one of the most powerful empires in the world. In 1513, Spanish explorer Juan Ponce de Leon claimed Florida for Spain. But claiming land and controlling it were two very different things. For decades, Spanish expeditions tried and failed to establish permanent settlements in Florida. Disease, hunger, hostile conditions, and conflicts with native peoples made survival nearly impossible. Then, a new threat appeared: the French. In 1564, French Protestant settlers, known as Huguenots, established a colony called Fort Caroline near present-day Jacksonville, Florida. To Spain, this was a disaster. Not only were the French challenging Spanish ownership of Florida, but they also threatened Spain's treasure fleets, carrying gold and silver from the Americas back to Europe. King Philip II of Spain decided the French colony had to be eliminated. And he knew exactly who to send: Pedro Menéndez de Avilés. In August 1565, Pedro Menéndez arrived on the Florida coast with hundreds of Spanish soldiers and settlers. He spotted a suitable location on August 28th, the feast day of St. Augustine. In honor of the saint, he named the site Street Augustine. On the 8th of September 1565, the Spanish officially founded the settlement. Today, historians recognize this date as the birth of the oldest continuously occupied European established city in the United States. But there was a major problem. The French were stronger, their fleet was larger, their military position was better, and they were preparing to attack. Menendez and his men appeared trapped. The future of Street Augustine hung by a thread. Then nature intervened. As the French fleet prepared to destroy the Spanish settlement, a powerful hurricane struck Florida's coast. The storm scattered the French ships. Several vessels were wrecked. Others were driven far south. What should have been a crushing French victory suddenly became a disaster. For Menendez, it was a miracle. With most French soldiers stranded and separated from their fort, he saw an opportunity. Leaving Street Augustine behind, he marched through rain, mud, and swamps toward Fort Caroline. The attack came before sunrise. The French defenders were caught completely off guard. Many were still sleeping. Within hours, Fort Caroline belonged to Spain. The French colony had fallen, and Street Augustine had survived. But the conflict was not over. South of Street Augustine, survivors from the wrecked French fleet were trying to make their way north. They had lost their ships, their weapons, and much of their food. When Menendez found them, he offered a choice: accept Spanish authority and convert to Catholicism, or face death. A small number accepted. Most refused. The result was brutal. More than 100 French prisoners were executed. Weeks later, French commander Jean Ribault arrived with additional survivors. They too surrendered, and they too were killed. The location where these executions took place became known as Matanzas. In Spanish, the word means slaughters. The name remains on maps today, a reminder of one of the darkest episodes in early American history. After defeating the French, Spain finally had what it wanted: a secure foothold in Florida. Unlike earlier colonies that failed, St. Augustine survived. The Spanish crown invested money and resources into the settlement. Catholic missionaries arrived to convert Native American communities. Soldiers protected the region from rival European powers. And St. Augustine became a vital port for Spanish ships traveling between the Americas and Europe. Year after year, the settlement grew stronger. What began as a military outpost slowly transformed into a permanent city.